Mr. Tesla, you've gained the glory of the man who got involved in the cosmic processes. Who are you, Mr. Tesla?
It's an interesting question, Mr. Smith, and I'll try to give you the right answer.
Some say you're from the country of Croatia, from the area called Lika, where together with the people are growing trees, rocks, and starry sky. They say that your home village is named after the mountain flowers, and that the house, where you were born, is next to the forest and the church.
Really, everything he said is true. I'm proud of my Serbian origin and my Croatian homeland.
Futurists say that the 20th and 21st century was born in the head of Nikola Tesla. They celebrate conversely magnetic fields and sing hymns to induction's engines. Their creator was called the hunter who caught the light in his net from the depths of the earth, and the warrior who captured fire from heaven. Father of alternating current will make the physics and chemistry dominate half the world. Industry will proclaim him as their supreme saint, a banker for the largest benefactors. In the laboratory of Nikola Tesla, for the first time, is broken atom. There's created a weapon that causes the earthquake vibrations. There are discovered black cosmic rays. 5 races will pray to him in the temple of the future because they had taught a great secret that Empedolyses elements can be watered with the life forces from the ethers.
Yes, these are some of my most important discoveries. Yet, I'm a defeated man. I have not achieved the greatest of my goals.
What is it, Mr. Tesla?
I wanted to light up the whole Earth. There is enough electricity to create a second sun. Light would appear around the equator, like a ring around Saturn. Humanity is not prepared for greatness. In Colorado Springs, I have impregnated the Earth with electricity. We can also water the other energies, such as positive mental energy, found in the music of Bach or Mozart, or in the verses of the great poets. Inside the Earth, there are energies of joy, peace, and love that are expressed, for example, through a flower that grows from the earth, food that comes out of it, and everything that makes it the home of man. I've spent years looking for ways that this energy could influence people. The beauty and aroma of the roses can be used as a medicine and the sun's rays as food. Life has an infinite number of forms, and the duty of scientists is to find them in all forms of matter. 3 things are essential in this regard. All I do is look for them. I know I will not find them, but I will not give them up.
What are these things?
One problem is food. What energy, stellar or terrestrial, can feed the hungry of the earth? With what wine can thirst be watered, so that people can cheer their heart and understand that they are gods? It is another thing to destroy the power of evil and the suffering in which man's life passes. Sometimes they occur as an epidemic in the depths of space. In this century, the disease had spread from Earth to the universe. The third thing is there's an excess of light in the universe. I discovered a star that, according to astronomical and mathematical laws, could disappear, and still nothing would change. That star is in this galaxy. Its light can be emitted with such density that it fits into a sphere smaller than an apple, and at the same time heavier than our solar system. Religions and philosophies teach that man can become the Christ, Buddha. What I am trying to prove is revolutionary and almost inaccessible. It is what must be done in the universe so that each being is born as Christ, Buddha, or Zarathustra. I know that gravity is adverse to everything I have to fly, and my intention is not to make flight devices, aircraft, or missiles, but to teach the individual to regain consciousness of their own wings. I'm also trying to awaken contained energy in the air. There are major energy sources. What is considered as empty space is only a manifestation of matter that is not awake. There is no empty space on this planet, nor in the universe. Black holes, of which astronomers speak, are the most powerful sources of energy and life.
On the window of your room in Hotel Waldorf Astoria on the 33rd floor, every morning the birds arrive.
A man must be sensitive to birds. This is because of their wings. The human being once had them, real and visible.
You've not stopped flying since those distant days in Smiljan.
I wanted to fly from the roof, and I fell. The calculations of the children can be mistaken. Remember that the wings of youth want to have everything in life.
Have you ever married? It is not known that you have affection for love or for a woman. Photos from the youth show you were a handsome man.
Yes, I did not. There are 2 points of view. Either one has much affection or nothing at all. The middle point serves to rejuvenate the human race. Women, for certain men, nourish and strengthen their vitality and spirit. Being alone does the same to other people. I chose that second path.
Your admirers are complaining that you are attacking relativity. The strange is your assertion that the matter has no energy. Everything is imbued with energy. Where is it?
First was energy and then matter.
Mr. Tesla, it's like when you said that you were born by your father and not on you.
Exactly. What about the birth of the universe? The matter is created from the original and eternal energy that we know as light. She shone, and the stars, the planets, the man, and everything on Earth and in the universe appeared. The matter is an expression of infinite forms of light because the energy is older than it. There are 4 laws of creation. The first is that the mind cannot conceive or mathematically measure the source of the whole bewildering and dark plot, and that plot fits the whole universe. The second law resides in expansive darkness, which is the true nature of light, of the inexplicable, and is transformed into light. The third law is the need for light to become a matter of light. The fourth law is there is no beginning or end. The 3 previous laws always take place, and creation is eternal.
In the hostility to the theory of relativity, you go so far that you hold lectures against its creator at your birthday parties.
Remember, space is not curved, but the human mind that cannot comprehend infinity and eternity. If relativity has been clearly understood by its creator, he would gain immortality even physically, if it pleases him. I am a part of light, and it is music. Light fills my 6 senses. I see, hear, feel, smell, touch, and think. Thinking about it is my 6th sense. Light particles are written notes. Lightning can be an entire sonata. 1,000 lightning balls are a concert. For this concert, I created a ball of lightning that can be heard on the frozen peaks of the Himalayas. About Pythagoras and mathematics, a scientist cannot and should not infringe on these 2. Numbers and equations are signs that mark the music of spheres. If Einstein had heard these sounds, he would not have created theory of relativity. These sounds are messages directed to the mind about which life has a meaning, and that the universe exists in perfect harmony, and its beauty is the cause and effect of creation. This music is the eternal cycle of stellar skies. The smallest stars completed the composition and is also part of the celestial symphony. The heartbeats of man are part of the symphony of the earth. Newton learned that the secret is in the geometric arrangement and the movement of the celestial bodies. He acknowledged that the supreme law of harmony exists in the universe. Curved space is chaos. Chaos is not music. Einstein is the messenger of the age of noise and fury.
Mr. Tesla, do you hear that music?
I hear it all the time. My spiritual ear is as large as the sky we see above us. I raise my natural ear with the radar. According to the theory of relativity, 2 parallel lines will meet in infinity. That is why the curvature of Einstein's space will straighten out. Once created, the sound lasts forever. For a man can disappear, but it still exists in the silence that is the greatest power of man. No, I have nothing against Mr. Einstein. He is a very kind person and has done many good things, some of which will become part of the music. I'm going to write to you and try to explain that either exists and that its particles are what keep the universe in harmony and life in eternity.
Tell me, please, under what conditions angel adopt on the earth?
I have 10 of them. I keep a good watchful record.
I will document all your words, dear Mr. Tesla.
The first requirement is a higher awareness of your mission and the work to be done. It must, albeit only vaguely, exist in the first few days. Let us not be falsely modest. The oak knows that it is an oak tree, a shrub beside it which is a shrub. When he was 12, he was certain he would reach Niagara Falls. I knew from my childhood that I would get most of my discoveries, although I was not entirely clear. The second condition to adapt is determination. All I could. I finished it.
What is the third condition of adjustment, Mr. Tesla?
guide for all the vital and spiritual energies that work. Therefore, the purification of the many effects and needs that man has. Therefore, I have not lost anything. I just won. So I enjoy every day and night. Note, Nikola Tesla was a happy man. The fourth requirement is to adjust the physical set with work.
What do you mean, Mr. Tesla?
First, a maintenance of the whole. The body of man is a perfect machine. I know my circuit and what is good for it. Food that almost all people eat, to me, is harmful and dangerous. Sometimes I visualize cooks of the world being all conspiring against my... Note, he touched my hand.
It was cold.
Yes, the bloodstream can be controlled, and many processes in and around us. Why are you scared, young man?
It's a story that Mark Twain wrote, A Mysterious Stranger, that wonderful book of Satan, inspired by you.
The word Lucifer is more charming. Mr. Twain likes to joke. As a child, I was healed once when I read his books. When we met here and told him, he was so moved that he cried. We became friends, and he often came to my laboratory. He once asked me to show him a machine that vibration causes a feeling of happiness. It was one of those inventions for entertainment, which I sometimes like to do. I warned Mr. Twain not to remain under those vibrations. He ignored it and stayed longer. It ended up being like a rocket, clutching the pants and entered a certain room. It was devilishly funny. Although I was serious. But to adjust the physical circuit in addition to food, sleep is very important. From a long and exhausting work, which requires a superhuman effort, after an hour of sleep would be completely recovered. I have acquired the ability to manage sleep, fall asleep, and wake up at the designated time. If I do something I do not understand, I force myself to think of my dream and to find a solution. The fifth adjustment condition is a memory. Perhaps in most people, the brain is the guardian of knowledge about the world and knowledge gained through life. My brain is engaged in things more important than remembering. It is a gathering of what is required at a given moment. That is, everything around us. You just have to internalize it. Everything we have once seen, heard, read, and learned accompanied us in the form of particles of light. To me, these particles are obedient and files.
You often mentioned the power of visualization.
I'm going to have to thank the visualization for everything I've invented. The events of my life and my inventions are real in front of my eyes, like any occurrence or article. In my youth, I was afraid of not knowing what it is, but later I learned to use this power as an exceptional talent and a gift. He nourished and projected jealousy. I also did the corrections through visualization in most of my inventions and ended them that way. By visualizing mentally, I solved complex mathematical equations. For that gift I have, I will receive the distinction of the High Lama in Tibet. My sight and hearing are perfect, and dare I say that they are stronger than in others. I hear the thunder 150 kilometers away, and I see colors in the sky that others cannot see. This expansion of vision and hearing I have had since I was a child. Later, I developed it consciously.
In youth, you have several times been seriously ill. Is it a disease and a requirement to adapt?
Yes, it is often the result of overexhaustion or life force, but it is often the purification of the mind and body from the toxins that have accumulated. It's necessary for a man to suffer from time to time. The source of most disease is in the spirit. Therefore, the spirit can cure almost all diseases. When I was a student, I was sick with anger that ravaged the Lika region. I healed because my father finally allowed me to study technology, which was my life. The illusion for me has not been a disease, but the ability of the mind to penetrate beyond the 3 dimensions of the earth. I have had illusions all my life, and I have received them like all the other phenomena that surrounded us. Once, in childhood, he was walking along the river with my uncle and said, "From the water, trout appears. I'll throw a stone and cut." That's what happened. Frightened and surprised, my uncle exclaimed, "Vade retro satana." He was an educated person and spoke in Latin. I was in Paris when I saw my mother's death. In the sky, full of light and music, clouds were missing. They were wonderful creatures. One of them had the character of the mother who looked at me with infinite love. As the vision disappeared, I knew my mother had died.
What is the seventh adjustment, Mr. Tesla?
Knowledge of how to transform mental and vital energy into what we want and achieve control of all feelings. Hindus call it Kundalini Yoga. This knowledge can be learned for what is needed many years, or can also be acquired by birth. Most of them I have acquired by birth. They are in the closest relationship with sexual energy, which is one of the most widespread in the universe. The woman is the greatest thief of that energy, and therefore of spiritual power. I have always known, and for this reason I have been alert. From myself, I have created what I wanted, a reflective and spiritual machine.
A ninth adjustment, Mr. Tesla?
Do your best, any day, any time, not to forget who we are and why we are on Earth. There are extraordinary people who are struggling with illness, deprivation, or society that hurts them with their stupidity, incomprehension, persecution, and other problems that the country is full. There are many fallen angels on Earth.
What is the 10th adaptation?
It's the most important. Write in the magazine that Mr. Tesla has played, and he spent all his life playing and enjoyed it.
Mr. Tesla, whether it relates to your findings and your work, is it a game?
Yes, dear boy. How much I wanted to play with electricity. I always shudder when I hear the story of the Greek who stole the fire. A terrible story about tracks and eagles pecking at his liver. Could it be that Zeus did not have enough lightning and thunder and was damaged by fervor? There is a misunderstanding. Lightning is the most beautiful toys that can be found. Don't forget to highlight in his text that Nikola Tesla was the first man who discovered the rays.
Mr. Tesla, we're just talking about angels and their adaptation to the earth.
It's really the same. He can write the following. He dared to take upon himself the prerogatives of Indra, Zeus, and Pradhan. Imagine one of these gods in a black nightgown, with a bowler hat and white cotton gloves, preparing rays, fires, and earthquakes for the elite of New York City.
Readers love the humor of our paper, but you confuse me stating that your findings, which have immense benefits for the people, representing the game. Many will frown on it.
The problem is that people take everything very seriously. If they did not, they would be happier. A Chinese proverb says that tremendousness reduces life, but for readers of the newspaper, do not frown. Let's go back to the things that they consider important.
They would love to hear what your philosophy is.
Life is a rhythm that must be understood. I feel the rhythm. I let it lead and I consent. It was very nice and gave me the knowledge I have. All that lives is in a deep and wonderful relationship. The man and the stars, the amoebas and the sun, the heart and the circulation of an infinite number of worlds. These ties are unbreakable, but can be tamed, propitiate, and begin to create new and different relationships in the world, and not violate the old. Knowledge comes from space. Our vision is the perfect set. We have two eyes, the earthly and the spiritual. It is recommended that they become an eye. The universe is alive in all its manifestations, like a thinking animal. The stone is a thinking and sensitive being, such as plants, beasts, and a man. A star that shines has to be seen, and if we are not self-absorbed, we would understand its language and its message. The breath, the eyes, and the ears of man have to fulfill the breath, the eyes, and the ears of the universe.
As you say this, it seems to me like I hear Buddhist texts, words, or Taoist parazuzulsa.
That's right. This means that there is a general knowledge and that there is the truth that man has always possessed. In my feeling and experience, the universe has a single substance and a supreme energy with an infinite number of the manifestations of life. The best thing is that the discovery of one secret nature reveals the other. They cannot be hidden. There are those around us, but we are blind and deaf to them. If we emotionally bind them, they come to us. There are a lot of apples, but only a Newton. He needed only one apple that fell in front of him.
A question that might be set at the beginning of this conversation. What was electricity for you, dear Mr. Tesla?
Everything is electricity. First was a light, an endless source from which comes the material and is distributed to all forms that represent the universe and the earth with all its aspects of life. The black is the true face of light, only we do not see it. It is of notable grace to man and other creatures. Each of its particles has light, thermal, nuclear force, radiation, chemical, mechanical, and energy not yet identified. It has the power to create the earth with its orbit. It is the authentic lever of Archimedes.
Mr. Tesla, you are too biased towards electricity.
Electricity I am, or if you prefer, I am the light in the human form. You are electricity too, Mr. Smith, but you do not realize it.
It is thus your ability to allow fails of electricity of 1 million volts through your body?
Imagine a gardener being attacked by herbs. In fact, this would be crazy. The body of a man and the brain are made of a lot of energy. In me, there is most of the electricity. The energy, which is different in each person, is what makes the human I, or soul. For other creatures, in their essence, the soul of the plant is the soul of minerals and animals. Brain function and death are manifested in the light. My eyes in youth were black. Now they are blue, and with the passage of time, as the tension of the brain becomes stronger, they will be closer to the target. What is the color of the sky? Through my window, one morning came a white dove, to which I fed him. She wanted to tell me that she was dying. Out of his eyes came streams of light. Never in the eyes of any creature had he seen so much light as in those of that dove.
Personnel in your lab speak about flashes of light, flames, and lightning that occur if you are angry or into kind of risk.
It's the psychic discharge or a warning to be alert. The light has always been on my side. Do you know how I discovered the rotating magnetic field of the induction motor, which made me famous when I was 26? One summer afternoon in Budapest, I saw the sunset with my friend. Thousands of fires circled thousands of flaming colors. I remembered Faust and recited his verses, and then, as in a fog, I saw the magnetic field and the induction motor spin. I saw them in the sun.
Hotel service telling at the time of lightning, you isolate into the room and talk to yourselves.
I speak with lightning and thunder.
With them? What language, Mr. Tesla?
Mostly my mother tongue. The language counts with words and sounds, especially in poetry, so it's adequate.
Readers of our magazine would be very grateful if you would interpret that.
Sound does not exist only in thunder and lightning. It also exists in the transformation in brightness and color. A color can be heard. The language is of the words, which means that it is the sounds and colors. All thunder and lightning are different and have their names. I call some of them by the names of those who were close in my life, or by those whom I adore. In the brightness of the sky and thunder live my mother, my sister, my brother Daniel, a poet, Jovan Jovanovic Zmaj. Names like Asisea, Ezekiel, Leonardo, Beethoven, Goya, Faraday, Pushkin, and all the banks of burning fires and tangles of lightning and thunder that do not stop all night burning the precious rain to the earth, burning trees or villages. There are lightning and thunder, and they are brighter and more powerful. They return, and I recognize you among thousands.
For you, science or poetry is the same?
These are the two eyes of a person. William Blake was taught that the universe was born of the imagination, which is maintained and will exist as long as there is one last man on Earth. She was the wheel with which astronomers were able to collect the stars from all galaxies. It is creative energy identical to the energy of light.
Imagination is more real to you than life itself?
It gives light to life. I have fed my thought. I have learned to control emotions, dreams, and visions. I have always appreciated how I have nurtured my enthusiasm. All my life, I have spent a lot of time in ecstasy. That was the source of my happiness. It helped me during all these years to find work, which was enough for the 5 lives. It is the best to work at night, by the stellar light and the close bond that exists.
You said that I am, like every being, the light. This flatters me, but I confess I do not quite understand.
Why is it necessary to understand, Mr. Smith? Just believe. Everything is light, and one of its rays is the fate of nations. Each nation has its own ray in that great source of light that we see, that is the sun. And remember that there is no man that has existed and has not died. It became light and as such still exists. The secret lies in the fact that the particles of light restore their original state.
This is the resurrection.
I'd rather call him back to an earlier energy. I'm looking for a way to conserve human energy. These are the forms of light, sometimes directly as celestial light. I have not sought it for my own benefit, but for the good of all. I think my discoveries make the lives of people easier and more bearable, and channel people to spirituality and morality.
Do you think that time can be abolished?
Not at all, because the first characteristic of energy is that it is transformed. This one is in perpetual transformation, like the clouds of the Taoists. However, it is possible to take advantage of the fact that man retains consciousness after the earthly life. In every corner of the universe, there is the energy of life. One of them is immortality, whose origin is outside of man and awaits him. The universe is spiritual, like half of us. The universe is more moral than we are because we do not know its nature and how to harmonize our life with it. I'm a scientist. Science is perhaps the most convenient way to find the answer to the question that always persecutes me and makes my days and nights become a fire.
What's the matter?
How his eyes shine. What I wanted to know is what happens to a shooting star when the sun goes down. Stars fall like dust or seed on this or other worlds, and the sun is dispersed in our minds, in the lives of many beings, which will be reborn as a new light or cosmic wind, scattered in infinity. I understand that this needs to be included in the structure of the universe. The thing is, however, that one of these stars and one of these suns, even the smallest, is preserved.
But, Mr. Tesla, you realize that this is necessary and is included in the constitution of the world.
When a man becomes conscious, his highest goal must be to run towards a shooting star and to try to capture it. He must understand that his life was given by this and will be saved. Eventually, it will be possible to catch stars.
And what will happen then?
The Creator is going to laugh, saying, "They fall only so that you persecute them and take them."
Isn't all of this contrary to the cosmic pain which so often you mention in your writings? And what is it, cosmic pain?
No, because we are on Earth. It is a disease whose existence the vast majority of people are not aware of, and that originates many other diseases, suffering, misery, evil, wars, and everything else, which makes human life an absurd and horrible condition. This disease cannot be completely cured, but consciousness makes it less complicated and dangerous. Every time some of my close and beloved people were injured, I felt the physical pain. This is because our bodies are made from similar material, and our soul is related to unbreakable filaments. The incomprehensible sadness that overwhelms us sometimes means that somewhere on the other side of the planet, a child or generous man died. The whole universe is in certain periods sick of itself and us. The disappearance of a star and the appearance of a comet affects us more than we can imagine. The relationships between Earth's creatures are even stronger because of our feelings and thoughts. The flower will perfume even more beautifully or fall into silence. We must learn these truths to be healed. The remedy is in our hearts and equally in the heart of animals we call the universe.